Hey, welcome back, guys. It is well, Saturday morning for you, so Friday evening right now for me, and I have a reveal for you guys. But no, it is not PSA. This is actually from tag grading. Yes, tag grading. So I was actually inspired to do this. I don't know if you guys remember. Of course, if you guys are following me and watching my videos, you'll know that probably I think like 3 or 4 videos back. I cracked a tag 10 card that was a 982 score Shohei Ohtani, which is 8 points away from being pristine. I cracked it to show you guys what's under the hood, and I found, I think it was 26 flaws compared to the 9 that tag found that was on their dig report. It prompted a lot of interesting conversations. So some folks were obviously just upset, saying I must have either switched or damaged the card. And then there were some other folks that kept pointing out the same things, like, you can't resubmit to tag, so they're the best. You can't resubmit to tag, so they're the best. You can't do this with tag. Maybe the flaws you found just were not important enough to where they only dinged the flaws that were detrimental to the card grade. So it made me think. And I was like, well, maybe, but we should probably find out. So what I did was 2 things. Number 1, I want to see if you can actually resubmit a card to tag. And second, I wanted to see what would happen if you're successful. So we're going to go ahead and do this reveal, and I'll go through my thought process. I'll also talk about the process in general, what I did, and then we will go from there. So let's flip this thing around and have some fun. All right, guys, so we're going to do an unboxing as well, but before we do that, I'm going to show you real quick. So pull up a picture here. So the card that was originally cracked by me, it has certification number, what was it, G5895658. I'll put it up on the screen. You can go on their website and check it out. So I went ahead and cracked this one, and the original plan was to send it over to SGC and then see what happens over there. But I decided, you know what, let's do this. I kept getting, I think, like 6 different comments saying, yeah, but you can't resub the tag. So that makes them the best, even though it's irrelevant to grading. So we're gonna pop this thing open. Sealed pretty good. It's a nice presentation, like I said. I think they have excellent packaging, marketing, and presentation. So let's open this bad boy up if we can. All right. So I already got my little wristband thingy, and I got my little sticker. Give that to my daughter. Nice little pack and some tissue paper, reusable box, which I shall use. Paul, that is coming your way. All right, so got a pack here. Very nice presentation, like I said, so we're just going to rip this thing open. So the idea is that you cannot resub the tag for a higher or lower grade. And this should be the same exact certification number if that is the case. And it got a 9 this time around with a new certification number. I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking to yourself, that's not the same card. Well, I left specific features so that I can prove to you that it is indeed. So before we get into that, I'll show you something. I left a very distinct mark. You could pull up the original cert that I gave you on their site, and you'll notice on the left corner, I'll zoom in over here, I'll actually post the little thing. So that mark is indistinguishable, undeniable. That's where it is, and that's the shape. It is also on the same card right here. See that scratch? Let's see if I can. Right there. It's the same. Let me get it there. There you go. There's a good view. It's the same exact mark in the same exact area. You'll see it on their scan in the original cert number as well. So how did this happen? Well, let me turn around and tell you. Okay, guys. So a little shocked. What did you guys think? So before we get into this, I already know that some of you guys will think it's a different card. It's not. And I can actually tell you how I did it. So what prompted this, a little bit of history real quick, is I made a video, like 3 or 4 videos back, I can't remember now. It got me in a lot of good, interesting conversations, I would say. And then it gave me some ideas. There were actually some members of their Discord group that reached out to me and said that my video has prompted them to have a town hall. I was invited, and I decided to be a fly on the wall. So there was a lot of topics. It wasn't just about my video, but when my video topic came up, I was excited to see kind of what the answer was. And needless to say, I was just kind of disappointed. It was basically dismissing what I did, which makes sense because I don't know what else you're supposed to say, but I'll read the quick blurb. It says, the question was asked is, I assume that you saw the video where there were defects found after a tag slab was cracked. Please take a look. And the response from Tag was, I am aware of this video to which you are referring. We re-examined the data on this particular card in detail, and we were able to confirm for you that the card in question requires no revisions. The examination of the card in the video was done with a microscope, and a microscope is incapable of discerning the impact of depth, location, and type of an individual defect and determine whether its impact is meaningful to the grade of the card. Keep in mind the system is built to replicate standard industry grading, not microscopic defect identification. Again, any defects on the card are captured for card digital fingerprinting, but are not necessarily impactful to the overall grade. To do otherwise, which your system is capable of doing, would result in lowering of grades to the point where the tag grading system would be a new grading system. That was the point, right? But not a system reflecting existing grading standards. I think it's safe to say any card graded by any of the major grading companies, if examined microscopically, would result in identification of defects that are not considered consistent with today's grading standards or your grading expectations. So my thoughts of this were, A, you dismiss what I do without knowing I use 4x where the industry standard is 10x. Second, I don't use industry standard. You're right, I don't. They don't use a microscope. They use a loop, at least from some of the videos we see, or a magnifying glass. Third, photometric stereoscopic imaging is also not industry standard, and you are building a new grading system. That's why you're marketing as you're going to be the best, most transparent. So to say that you built your machine to reflect existing standard grading from all the major companies does not make any sense to me after what has been presented to me in a marketing campaign. Second is that you noted that the flaws that I found, you also found, but they weren't impactful enough to actually be detrimental to the grade. Fair enough. So it made me think about some stuff. I said, you know what? You guys have ID'd the card. You guys have broken it out into basically what I come to conclusion is segmentation identification, where you break up the card into regions and you create coordinates of markers so you can ID the card, just like fingerprinting, except for the card. So I found 26 flaws and you guys found 9. So I only can assume there's 9 in your system because I don't know for a fact if you have the other 17. So I started thinking about it and I said, well, what if I took off your 9 markers and sent in what's left of the 17? Will we get a different grade or will it come back perfect? It came back lower. And if you look at the markings, here's the pictures. So if you look at the markings on this particular card, and I'll show you both dig reports. I'll show you the dig report of the first card, and I'll show you the dig report of the second card side by side. So the ones that you noted on the first one, you'll notice on the second card, they're not there anymore. But you'll notice on the second card, there's a lot more flaws now that show up on the photo I marked where all my findings were. You'll see a lot of those flaws. So why did they suddenly matter? And this is the reason I kind of bring that up. There was also a few of you guys that were pretty passionate, which I appreciate, but passion and emotion doesn't make it right or fact. It's just you're emotional. This gentleman went on my page and said, this is how they grade. That's a fact. What the F are you talking about? I get it. You're one of these, if I get the last response and I'm kind of I'm right kind of guys. But if there was one giant dented corner, that would have been the score superseding all the small dings you're trying to find. I don't know how else to explain it. If Gary has 25 tiny pieces of gold weighing 1 ounce and Bill has 1 5-pound nugget of gold, who has more gold? Sure, the other companies can grade just like you did with your microscope. By the way, the 5-pound nugget outweighs the 25 ounces. But if you can resubmit that card and get a better or worse score, then no, they cannot freaking grade. You found some dings on a card they didn't need to show you because of the other dings and you got your score. If you respond again, I will deem you the winner. Last person to talk wins. That is insanely, number one, childish, because nobody agrees to that. The second thing is that what I got from interpreting that metaphor was that, well, their flaws outweighed the ones you found. Fair. So now that I took their flaws away, why are mine weighing more? You tell me. But moving on, I found some other stuff. And this is what I said to Paul before I sent it out. This was dated January 4th. I said, final update. And this is right after I cracked it from. This thing right here, man, it had quite a bit of surface issues. And one of the back corners is good, but looks weird. I can't explain it. I think tag overgraded by a lot, but I did clean it up okay. So I left some of those. And I said I took out all the identified marks in their report. Still probably a shot at a 10, though only 25% in my opinion. To me, it's a 9. To them, it's a 9. But only after I took out their flaws, it was a 9. Which is also interesting. And then, same thing, I had a couple more things that prompted me. Once again, can you resubmit the tag? The answer is no. The machine picks it up. You can with other companies. Is that wrong? Therefore, they are the best. No? You tell me. There was a couple more as well that I don't know if you need to see everything, but basically the gist of most stuff, most of the arguments was that, you know, you can't resubmit the tag. Anytime a card, and especially consistency, when the executives of PSA self-admit that you can resend in the same card, you will get a different grader every time and a different grade too. Why would I waste a cent at a business model like that if I was a true collector? Well, it's the same thing with tag. Maybe tag is better. Don't tell me, I'm not going to take that away from them. They've at least put in some effort to be able to try to do this, but it's not foolproof. And I will give them that, absolutely, 100%. They've taken measures, but the reality is they can only identify ones that are serial numbered. If I decided to go through right now on eBay, pick up tag slabs, crack them out, and resend them a tag after I see their dig report, see where the flaws are, and clean them up, it's going to come back different. It's going to come back with different centering. It's going to come back with different corners. It's going to come back with different edges. That's just what it is. One of the reasons too is that the machine is the machine, but it has to be in a controlled environment to a point where you have to lay the card perfectly in the same direction, same position, same everything, and hopefully all the lights and cameras reflect the same way to be able to distinguish the same card. To do that is physically impossible without the segmentation identification rules they probably put in to region out the card and to ID everything. So if you simply take that away, what's the difference between them and AGS grading? What's the difference between them and any other kind of like the AI companies? I don't really know. So either way, it said, let us know when you get this Otani back from please submit again. So once again, brought up by PSA, but what I did was send it back to tag. It will now go to SGC for Paul after I remove everything else. So another comment was, to be fair, try doing this with a non-Chrome card. I've noticed that tag, they don't have the biases with artificial population control that PSA has with popular players like Brady, LeBron, and Kobe. I said, to be absolutely fair, it shouldn't really matter what kind of stock or finish it is when you send a card to any company. The fact is that tag is a legitimate company that has a specific task, which is to grade any cards that are sent in their way in return for currency. That's just a fact. I don't care if it's Chrome. I don't care if it's paper. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a freaking sticker. If they say they'll grade it, they should be able to grade it. And it's true. Photometric stereoscopic imaging, if you look it up, if you use a glossy or shiny finish, it is hard to be consistent. That's just a fact. Look it up. Do your own research. And another comment was, PSA with their latest interview fully admitted that you can send in a card and recrack and send again. You will get a different grader. Could totally get a different grade. I, for one, want a real grade. Otherwise, why pay more for PSA 10 versus PSA 9? As a collector, I want a repeatable grade and accurate grade without bias. And, kind of leave you guys with that. I showed enough pictures of all the flaws I found, what I removed, the 10 markers, what they looked like before. You don't have to believe what I just did. Like I said, you can try it yourself. It doesn't really matter to me. I've proven enough to myself, and it's what it is. So, moral of everything is just go with the company that you enjoy. It's not a battle. Never once did I say PSA is better, Tag is better, SGC is better, Beckett's better, because they all do different things. They all have different guidelines. Like, pick the company that you just love and go with it. Like, don't poop on everybody just because they do different things. 99% of my collection is raw. I grade for other people, but I don't think any of these companies are better than the other. I just think they're doing their own thing, and you should go with your cup of tea. That's all it is. So, obviously I have more reveals coming back. Who knows, maybe another one from Tag if they don't ban my account. But I'll have other reveals coming regardless. I hope you guys do take this content with it's just my user case. You might have a different result. I don't know. I don't think you will. But, if you crack out a tag and you just send it back in, I'm sure it'll be identified as the same card. If you crack out a tag and you know where your flaws are and you decide you don't want them there anymore, if they're removable because they're not, obviously they aren't detecting that it's been cleaned or anything like that, you'll get a different card or different grade probably every single time. It's just what it is. So once again, I hope you guys at least found this informative. I don't think some of you guys will like this. And like I said, that's not the point. The point is to just give you guys the right information based on my findings. And I'd love to see a video that kind of counters this if any one of you guys are curious about doing this. But, until then, probably the only one doing it. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. And, there will be more fun ones to come. So I appreciate it. Have a good one.